Great catching up with my next guest, the Joker, Jay Perrin. He's going to be back in action against Joe the Party, Cage Titan 74, November 15th. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm going to be there live next week. And if you're not live like I am, you can watch it on Spectation Sports. Jay, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, another day in paradise, baby. Just trying to survive a 2-year-old.
Yes, I know. We're working the dad duty and obviously getting ready for this big fight. So we know this fight was made after the last Cage Titans card. I know you were, annoyed that, and I think a lot of people were, that Joe didn't show up to the face-off, right? They did this. There was supposed to be this whole thing, and Joe was in, obviously in Plymouth. He fought the night before against Randy Costa. But I kind of wanted to start there because I know there has been some bad blood between you over the years, and it's a fight that's sort of been a long time coming. So kind of for the person out there who might not know, the fan, I should say, out there that doesn't know the backstory here, where did this sort of all start with the two of you?
So it started between him and I. It started off like years back now, and it was like when I was still around for Cage Titans, and like right before I had won the CES belt and then gone to the UFC. There was like a 3-way, competition between myself, Johnny Cupcakes, and then I believe it was Dan Dubuque when the party kind of introduced himself into the network, and it just started as regular chirping. And then, he ended up winning the belt, and at the time at a certain point, I was the one that was in line for that belt. And so he would do this thing where he agreed to fight me verbally. And then we would get, a few weeks into it, everything seemed cool. And then like 2 or 3 weeks out, he would go fight for another promotion, get a different fight. And he did this like 4 or 5 times where he like said yes to fighting me. There was a date. We had this all planned. And then he would do something else and make an excuse as to why he couldn't fight me. And then, I would I would be around, and then I went up to 45. He went up to 45, but he wouldn't fight me. You know what I mean? He just dances around fighting me, even though, he just likes the show of it. Like you said, he's the party. He likes to be the guy with all the eyes on him. So he's been using my name to get like clicks and grabs because he knows that he and I will chirp at each other for like 5 years. And so like basically he's a fraud to me, and I'm not a person that's like that. You know what I mean? If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And he's just not that way. And it started out as like a beef because he had my belt that I never lost, that I wanted. And then it turned into, he's running, and it was really just about the belt. But then he started making up like these rumors about my personal life, and then, just saying things about my family. And even if they were in passing, they were inappropriate, So at this point, the beef is personal because from man to man, you decided to take it beyond professionalism. And this is the type of person that like we're dealing with. It has nothing to do with like him as a fighter, because he sucks. If I'm honest, dude's not good. And, beyond the bravado and all the, I watched him and Valdina the other night, and he did more taunts from getting hit in the face than he actually threw punches. Right. So like that's like beyond that. He's just a guy that runs his mouth and doesn't back it up with anything else. So that's the beef. Is basically I've been trying to fight him for a belt or whatever, and he ran from me. And now he's, as soon as he would say no, he would jump into my inbox after he would say no and call me a bitch or some shit like that. It's just a lot. He's like a 13-year-old girl is what he is. And that's how I can really frame it, is that every time his name has come across my desk, I've said, yep, tell me when and where, what weight we're doing it. And it always on his side turned into, this, that, or the other. And I'm just tired of it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, we're grown men. You're 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. No, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. No, and obviously we've seen him at a bunch of the Cage Titans. I mean, he fought Randy Costa on the last event, the Ring Titans. Like, we've seen him show up. But with all this said that you're kind of bringing up here, like, is there any concerns you think this fight might not happen because of the fact
I still don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, gotcha.
Until I see him walk to the cage, I don't think that he's gonna show up.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm still preparing that way. Like, and like I have enough sample size of him not showing up. People shouldn't expect him to show up. He didn't even show up to announce the fight.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I bring that up. Obviously, yeah, he's reliable. I'm just saying that, all these things sort of factor in here. With all that said, mentioning his skill set and everything, how do you feel like your style kind of jives with him in this fight? How are you looking at this one stylistically?
I think I am just better in every regard. There's no, I'm honest to God. I give my opponents all of the credit that they deserve all the time. And I've even given Joe credit on his footwork, his awkward timing, and shit like that. But like, there's no part of this where you can line us up skill for skill and go, oh, Joe's better at Jay than Jay at that. Nothing, nothing, not a single part of it. I truly believe that this style of opponent, he's just a guy that can take punches and move forward. And what he really banks on is the fact that he can take punishment and get people tired. His whole shit is a rope-a-dope.
Mhm.
Like he gets punched in his face a billion times, and then people get tired from punching him in the face so much that he like comes back and rallies late with some like sloppy shit because everybody's exhausted. And like the difference between me and people like that is that I don't become sloppy in
Mhm.
the fifth round. I'm still clean and my cardio holds up the whole time. So he can't weaponize that shit against me. There is not one part of this that if I'm on my P's and Q's and everything I am on point, that Joe's gonna have anything for me. He might have a big looping hook, but I don't give a shit. He hasn't knocked anybody out in 10 years. So who gives a shit? Like at the end of the day, this I've said it a few times. This isn't a battle of skills, because if it was just down to skill, right? That's why he runs. It comes down to a spiritual ego war, and that's why I haven't really done shit side by side with him or chirp back and forth with him, because this is a 40-year-old man who never grew up from fourth grade, who needs all the attention on him in order to hype himself up to get anywhere. So skill wise, Buddy doesn't belong in the same ring as me. A
Mhm.
lot of people know that, and I intend to prove it next Saturday in like every single way. There's nothing that he is better than me at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done.
It's gonna be a good fight. Take me through camp a bit. Anything different? Who you working with? Who's helping you get ready for this one?
Andrew Valdina has been a big help. Randy Costa has been a big help. Joe Lozon has been invested in it as well. They all know the fight is important to me as far as like a personal, beef, I suppose, and how badly I want to win it. So a lot of the people that have beaten him already
Mhm.
are helping me. So it's been a great camp. I'm very appreciative of everybody and all the support I get from my teammates and everybody that has bought shirts and stuff. So. Same old as far as like how hard I work. I'm still in there 6 days a week, regardless of the opponent. So I've just tweaked things and added the perspectives of people that have been in there with him and how to time him and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a big benefit, obviously, which will be great. So, how's this one playing out on November 15th? How do you see it unfolding?
I think we're just going to stand in the train. I'm going to put on a fucking boxing clinic next Saturday. I think that he's going to get. He's going to do his normal thing where his new normal thing is that he doesn't throw punches, which is great. Please don't throw a single one. Um, Uh, but I think that I'm just gonna jab his nose off. That's like my whole goal, James, is
Mhm.
to just break his nose.
Mhm.
I don't care about anything else. It's just punch him in his fucking nose as many times as I can, just off of principle. It's a 5-round fight. I demanded it to be a 5-round fight for all the shit that he said over the last few years. So it's 25 minutes. Historically, I have never lost a 25-minute fight,
It's
and
true.
um, I think that it'll be a good first couple rounds because he's got the spirit. He's a guy with a large amount of willpower. I'll give him that. But as soon as that goes, I'm gonna absolutely run away with this. It's gonna be another dominant performance from me. I don't care who it is, Joe Penafiel or whoever, but this guy is gonna get buried under the fucking cage.
Okay. Can't wait for this one, man. What's next after this? If all goes well, you get the big win, you get this personal fight out of the way. What do you want to do after this? Any sort of, not looking past him, but just sort of looking at, obviously we're coming up to the end of the year, but 2026, what are you sort of looking at?
Dude, you know what? Like my career has been storied, time and time again. I got too far ahead of myself, and I expected things that didn't come, and it really just disappointed me and like um, put me in a depression even. So I don't even look too far ahead after this guy. Obviously, Joe Penafiel is still the target in front of me.
Mhm.
I don't know where I go, man. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I'm not really represented. Iridium let me go.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know if I'll ever get the call for the big show without that kind of representation. So I'm just taking it fight by fight. I'd like to, you know what I mean, see what comes with it. I've won 4 of my last 5 if I win this one,
Mhm.
so we'll see what goes. I don't know who's going to call me. I don't know if, maybe I'll get another contender shot. Who knows? But I've had those shots. So um, I'm just going to keep trucking away until, I'm 32.
Mhm.
So I only have, however many years. left of it. So I'm just going to keep plugging away and try and get 2, 3 more fights next year, and you know, rack together more wins until I become undeniable again. And if that's not the case, then I can die or retire happy at the end of it, knowing that I put together enough wins and I had a good career.
Was that a decision to leave Iridium? Was that a mutual one, or did they say like, "Hey, we're moving on"? Like, how did that all happen?
No, it was more. I didn't feel that I was as important in that cog,
Okay.
in that machine. I thought that I really, again, I appreciated everything that they had done for me to that point. They had got me to the UFC, and but when I left and I came home, I'm in Massachusetts now, and I guess I'm just not right in front of people. So I didn't hear anything from them
Right.
for
Okay.
2 years. Every fight that I booked when I was home at Cage Titans was me booking it,
Right.
not them. And then they would do the posts that I was fighting, but they weren't actually helping me secure sponsorships. They weren't helping me secure anything really. So I just said, you know what? If I'm managing myself, then I don't really need you guys. So I guess I'll just leave. I'm not going to hear from you guys. And they just released me.
Okay, gotcha. Well, we're looking forward to this one. Cage Titan 74, November 15th. Like I mentioned there, if you can't see it live at the Plymouth Memorial Hall, you can go watch it on Spectation Sports. Jay, appreciate the time, man. If there's anyone you want to thank, sponsors, social media, anything like that, I'll give you the last word.
I like to thank anybody and everybody that supports me. You know what I mean? They're a dime a dozen these days. They don't pop up a lot. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So if you have supported me throughout the camps and all the bullshit that I spew throughout, I really appreciate you and all my teammates and my coaches and everybody that's helped me along the way, even to this point. I'm really appreciative. So I cannot wait to put on a performance. You know what I mean? This is a guy I've really wanted to put my hands on for a while. I think I'm going to have the time of my life in there, and it'll show in my performance. I do think it's going to be a good little scrap for the first couple rounds before I beat the fuck out of him. So stay tuned. Get on Spectation Sports. Buy tickets. It's going to be one to remember for sure.